Hi, friends. My name is Host Eric. I'm the host of Talking with Tennis People, and I'd like to make a video tonight about education, college admissions, and what I would deem the movement towards institutionalized, polished mediocrity. So, I was talking to a friend about their kids' admissions process, and he has college essays to write, and they talked to me on a couple of occasions about what I think they should do and etc. Well, one of the parents wanted the kid to provide in the essay information about childhood health problems and his success as a in his success in business as a high school student, independent of high school. And I thought the latter was fine, but ultimately, what I just told them is tell the truth. Just tell the truth about your actual experience here. Well, it's been wrangling. Then he went and showed it to the college counselors, and one of them advised him begin your essay with, I was born with a hole in my heart. What this tells me is that the people at this school, these three college counselors looked at it, they all gave him feedback saying, remove from your essay stuff relevant to your intellectual development and put in stuff irrelevant to your intellectual development. And, of course, remember, the student applying to college is supposed to be writing this essay. Instead, what this poor kid has is essay by committee, essay by way of interfacing, which is to say, they're trying to figure out what the person reading the essay wants to read and how we can provide that in the most impactful way so that we get admitted to this university. You cannot make a good piece of writing like that, right? If you genuinely want to tell the truth about yourself, you have to speak truths that matter to you. This student is obviously not somebody who feels he's defined by his childhood health problems. And while his business success is worth noting, like on a as per a resume thing, right? Might be worth noting in that regard. It's not the case that it's relevant to the college admissions process, nor is it the case that he perceives it as relevant to his identity, especially. If the college wants to know who he is, you know, he's a free thinker. He's a bit of an iconoclastic um, applicant, but he's brilliant. And so it is the case that you've got an industry of people who are all well intentionally trying to help a student write an essay that appeals to an averaged out person possibly reading the essay down the road, that appeals to a bunch of emotionalities and is not any reason why anybody should admit anybody to college. Now, whether or not any student should even go to college is very much an open question. The reality of education is that people should have an authentic desire and or need to learn something in order to accomplish something else that they want to do, right? So if you're into coding or whatever, you might need to learn a new coding language to operate in a certain frame of reference. Well, then you seek out the means, the information you need to learn and learn it yourself and or find an online class teaching that or whatever. Those are authentic learning experiences, right? There's nothing authentic about the learning experience from K through 12 at all. Now, it might be justified for kids, grammar school, basic stuff, math, arithmetic, reading, basic grammar stuff. Might be justified to have compulsory education, but the fact is, there's nothing good going to be produced by youth prison camp. We've got a bunch of kids who are all treated as though they were varying deviances from a mean that everybody's supposed to be, and at least that, right? While concurrently presenting them with a bunch of different kinds of information and teachings and stuff that are appropriate to different kinds of ways of paying attention, and that are totally inappropriate for some students and right in the wheelhouse of others, then they treat it as though it's not a consequence of natural abilities and or varying strengths and deficits, but instead of some sort of ontological failure of the person who's not doing well in that thing, right? That environment is going to produce a bunch of very confused people who are confused mostly about themselves, resentful people who didn't want to be there doing those things, who experienced all sorts of bad experiences in an environment that is not respectful of their individual rights, that doesn't allow them to not attend. And then it turns out that when you apply to college, that they want you to affirm, all the adults around you want you to affirm that this pile of nonsense should continue with yet another farce, yet another imitation of actual identity and actual expression of self, yet another polished pile of mediocrity, polished pile of non truth. It's not exactly false, but it doesn't carry any weight because it's only utilized for a purpose. And so, how can it possibly accomplish anything of value as an identity? It's being used like a whore. And the education system seems to reward both eager and hardworking pimps and whores in uh, this horribly exploitative and ordinated TE standardized bullshit kind of system that produces this nonsense. It, essays, college used to require essays to get a sense of who the student is. Now they require essays to make sure that your family has incorporated enough professionals to make sure your essay is super polished mediocrity. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Education system? Boo.